Hello everyone! How is it going? I'm starting here in the middle of a scene because all the scenes happen so fast. I played a little bit more since last time, so let's just have like a quick recap. This Trailblaze mission, which we're planning to finish today, we started the 33,550,337th eternal recurrence with Cyrene, our last chance to stop Iron Tomb and change the fate of Amphoreus, so that way Amphoreus doesn't get destroyed and the universe does not get destroyed by Iron Tomb, the Lord Ravager that's been growing within the Amphoreus computer system, and has been delayed thanks to the work and you know, the enduring of our friends Phainon and Cyrene. Cyrene and I appear at the beginning of the cycle, and we meet up with Ceridra, the Imperator, the demigod of law. And I already tell things are different. She's talking about the eons and knowing that there's a world beyond the sky, completely different from the world that we knew, the version of Amphoreus that we knew from the previous recurrence. Turns out Lygus had been telling her information because Lygus, the system administrator, is getting kind of desperate that we've messed up his mission so much that now he's getting involved himself. And so then we were able to work with Hycelins, because Hycelins, the Dux Gladiorum, who serves Ceridra, does not trust Lygus, and we worked together to eavesdrop and then also tell Ceridra our side of the story, that we are trying to stop the destruction of everything, and that all of Lygus's promises that she can rule over Iron Tomb and use Iron Tomb to go on a great conquest through the stars, that's all a lie. And she seemed to, you know, she's a reasonable person. She gathers all her information, looks at the facts, looks at who is being more sincere. She did mostly take our side in terms of us not, you know, trying to lie and use her and actually all that stuff. But then things kind of get bad because Lygus doesn't like how this is going. Everything's getting out of his control. So he sends us to his computer realm, where time there moves slowly than in Amphoreus, meaning that we wasted a lot of time being stuck in there. This is like that part of Interstellar where they're on like the planet near the black hole, where only a few minutes pass in there, and then 1,000 years goes by in the eternal recurrence that we're not there. Thankfully, we did make our mark on that recurrence. And also with our beacon, Herda and Screwlum from outside were also able to make some changes, and it seems that Cyrene was there as well. We're able to get out of the computer thanks to our friend Evernight. Evernight appears to be a different version of March 7th who got absorbed into Amphoreus and disappeared, and we don't really know what happened to her, except now she's back as Evernight. And she also stopped the Garden of Recollection from using us. The Path of Remembrance is indeed likely the best, I guess, antidote to the Path of Erudition and destruction and all of this, you know, logic and reason that is basically plaguing. Well, it's the whole experiment that is allowing, that Lygus is running, that has been running to grow Iron Tomb. By contrast, Remembrance is a path that focuses on, you know, memories, emotions, not just the ones and zeros of the code. We don't seem to, indeed, it seemed that the Garden of Recollection was kind of, you know, trying to use us. But Evernight sent us back here with the World-Bearing Core Flame. I'm still not 100% sure how she got it. Then we appear at the end of the Eternal Recurrence, back in, like, the fallen Akama, and we witness the memories of all of our Chryslos heirs' friends over the eras. Things happen so differently than before. Now that this is a completely different version of a recurrence, it's so different than all the 33 million before that Phainon had to live through, because everybody knows that Lygus is trying to use them, and everybody's united in fighting against Lygus. But despite that, over the whole 1,000 years, our friends still end up sacrificing themselves at different times during the path, just hoping that we would return. They don't even know if we're returning because we got we got blasted out of the timeline by Lygus. And it's kind of eerie because no matter how much we've actually changed the timeline, it's still ending up the same, where all of our friends like Tribi, Cypher, Aglaya, then we had Cypher and Anaxa and Cass and Mighty all doing these things, and for a future they don't even get to see. And for a future they know the stakes are much higher for. Before, when they were fighting for the Era Nova, they didn't know what to expect, but now they know how grand the stakes are, and the fact that they would sacrifice themselves, not even knowing if they'll be reborn to see the future. Anyway, it ends with Hyacinth and Cyrene, with Hyacinth leading a bridge to the Vortex of Genesis. Hyacinth, Cyrene, and Hyacinth at the very end. Cyrene does what she did at the beginning of the first of the 33 million recurrences, sacrificing herself to break the flow of time, presumably with the help of the Aeon Fuli again. In her words, that was, she's already done this millions of times, so what's one more time? But I felt so bad. We made her do it one more time, enduring the long pain and suffering of distorting time, which probably means just living in isolation with your spirit out there for much longer than just 1,000 years. She essentially broke the timeline to buy us more time because we couldn't get back in 1,000 years because of, thanks Lygus, thank you so much. Hyacinth opens the bridge, and Hyacinth is using her power to lock Lygus in the Vortex of Genesis, because that's outside of Amphoreus. That's sort of where her domain of power is, because it's linked to Fagusa. It's where we need to go anyway to return the core flame, and since a fight with Lygus is inevitable, then this is sort of a place where we can do it and have some sort of control of the situation. She's been locking Lygus here, but now that we're here, we're seeing sort of her memories and her own past. At the end of the last episode, I was like, why is this daytime again? Well, this is all Hyacinth's memories, her being a prison warden, but also fading away and wearing away while Lygus is trapped in here, chilling, because his mind he's a robot, and he's super determined, and he's not succumbing to erosion at all. Okay, so then what we miss, that was the end of the last episode. That was the recap of the whole thing. In between, I played a little bit more. In between then and now, we saw a little bit of Hyacinth's past. Hyacinth used to be a titankin of Fagusa, the ocean titan. Her name was Helectra, which sounds like a combination of Helen and Electra. Don't know what to make of that. Anyway, she witnessed a lot of her fellow sea siren titankin perish from the black tide. Even though Phynon got absorbed into the source code and is still putting on a good fight to suppress the black tide, some of it still is around. And just like in previous versions, the ocean is what got corrupted. And Hyacinth was the only survivor. She makes it onto land and is just fighting and fighting and fighting, as she describes, looking for a feast that is, a banquet at the end with comrades to share, and being drawn to the light, which is the fire of war. She's fighting and fighting. Eventually she meets Seridra, who understands her story and tells her to fight for her, and in exchange she'll get what she wants. We see first a version of that story where everything turns out well, and she serves Seridra, and they go on their grand conquest to the stars, and Seridra promises a whole bunch of stuff. But then we learn that it wasn't actually that pretty in reality. In the end, some things happened eerily similar to previous recurrences. Seridra, for some reason, her trial for the trial of the Law Core Flame involved the sacrifice of, because I was saying last time, wasn't under the impression that the other trials required anything you had to do in the real world. I thought it was all it was all in your head kind of challenge. But essentially sacrificing those who, I guess, well, she ends up sacrificing many Chrysos heirs, the bearers of the mark of the destruction. And that's not something that Hyceelans really agrees with. We know then that this eventually leads to her being at odds with Seridra and eventually killing her. And now she's here at the tomb of Seridra in this memory, standing watch over it forever. And this is also where she's the metaphorical prison warden for Lygus, waiting for us to arrive in endless broken time thanks to Cyrene. I think that's everything. That's where we're at. It feels pretty therapeutic to summarize hours and hours worth of story in a pretty long time, but that was probably only like 7 minutes. Okay, let's continue.
This will be the last time I carry out your decree. Ever since you took me under your banner and made me the Dux Gladiorn, my music has belonged to others. Time and time again, I use the siren's song to lure the unwary into illusions for your schemes and strategies. Now, let the siren Electra sing for herself. Let me step into an endless dream of my own making. Oh, great ocean. I offer you the rest of my clarity and my freedom, in exchange for the strength to stand against the nihility and honor the sacrifices of the fallen heroes.
We're there. Hyceelans, can you see us?
Greyfry, deliverer from beyond the sky.
This is her memory, though.
When you ride the current of time
Lygus'
and find your
consciousness
way
still gets to float around, even though his body
you'll hear my solo. It will guide you to the heart of this world. By then, I may still be lost in my self-wrought slumber, but I'll uphold my part of this long relay and guard the shackles that seal the Theoros.
All of our friends passed this baton through the ages.
Do you still remember?
Playing a part so that way
To
we would be
awaken
able to have
someone
this
from a
moment
siren's
to
voice,
face Lygus now.
you'll need
Fagusa's honeydew. That's right, that's how she was able to break her illusion for us in Cyrene.
the gift I once
All
gave you.
those apparently thousands.
May you still have
eons
it when
ago.
the time comes. When you return,
One more
please pour that
sacrifice.
honey brew upon this grave. It holds the story of all our struggles and sacrifices. May you see it one day. The prelude Amphoreus wrote for your return, carried forward through a 1,000-year relay. When your morning ends, I'll likely wake from my dream as well. Then, follow the trail of echoes and find me.
Hyceelans. Okay. We'll find
And
her.
together, we'll bring judgment upon the sinner who defiled the erudition.
That's you, Lygus. You better get ready. We have our baseball bat in hand.
33,550,336 cycles and 4,931 years later, Amphoreus's final curtain is ready to fall.
Yep, and the only thing literally falling is
The
you.
shadows within the cave gave everything.
No more games,
Yet
Lygus.
all they did was mimic life outside its walls.
Okay, yep.
Enough! They were no shadows.
Yeah, please tell him.
Everything they did shattered the darkness of this cave. and unearth the core flame of Trailblaze. And now, with that core flame, I'll light the dawn of Amphoreus.
You tell him, Stell.
Do you still choose the will of the paths as your answer? I do not agree with
I know
that
you don't
answer,
agree.
But as an apology, and in the name of Theoros, who saw all destinies in this world, let me join you in mourning. And then let us face each other and decide whose flame will rise with this new dawn.
Yep. We'll do that. Thanks, Lygus. Yeah, Pollux' underworld postcard. Even though this is the daytime Styxia before it was this place of death. It was the original city that worshipped Phagosa. But there was no feast left here when Hycealens was here. To the Chrysos heirs who gave their lives chasing flame, their fates were not foretold by prophecy, yet they bore no shame in their insignificance. With unwavering resolve, they shed golden blood along the flame chase journey. Read the inscription. Oh, these are all the friends. All of these Chrysos heirs we've met over time. They were working with Seredra. The way last time I was asking, by sacrifice, did she mean that she offered them up as a sacrifice and killed them, or did they fall in battle in a pointless war? It sounds like it's a bit of both. That there was a sacrifice that was required, so Seredra had them fight in a war, so they would die a glorious death in her name, in the name of, I guess, her conquest. But I also don't agree with that. I don't agree with that, and I don't understand why the trial would require that. Because with the power of law, would it really judge you based on something that's an inherent part of you? Like the Chrysos heirs' golden blood is just an inherent part of them. It doesn't control the choices they make with their lives. Is that really how law should work? But yeah. Seredra, the Imperator, the demigod of law, deceased light calendar 3960. We pour honey brew onto the gravestone, amber liquid seeping into the crevices of the inscriptions, as if the heroes are drinking deep of the spilled tribute.
To Virginia, Apollonius, Seneca, Labienus, and Seredra.
Through a brutal sacrifice, they lit the stars of law in the shimmering mirage.
I'm ready. You guys waited so long for me to arrive. I mean, Finon was waiting for somebody to arrive at 33,550,336 cycles. I guess what is one more compared to that? And yet, still, one more cycle of broken time. You were all waiting for us and just had nothing but faith that we would arrive and be able to make use of what the path of success that they laid out for us. An eternal fight against Lygus for 1,000 years. To the Chrysos heirs who gave their lives for the new world, their fates, as foretold by prophecy, are to be born whenever the world needs them, irrespective of how time and space may shift, all to fulfill their duty and answer their calling. Terravox, the demigod of Earth. Interesting. Born approximately 2,000 years before the light calendar system. Deceased light calendar 3961, the year after Saridra. Aglaya, the demigod of romance. Born light calendar year 3860, deceased light calendar year 4029. Amphoreus, Midamos, Tribios, Cyphera, and Exagoras. See, in this version, they all lived at different times. Like in the previous cycle, the last 6 core flames were claimed at the very end. Everybody was alive at that same point in time. In this version, they all lived a lot earlier, submitted the core flames earlier, and then had some period of time utilizing that immortality, but they still all lived and died at different times. But you'd think that there was so much different with this recurrence that there should be enough to change things and rewrite the outcome of the Era Nova. But the problem is, what we're seeing is, no matter what we're doing, history is repeating itself. Everybody's still putting everything they have to get this core flame of world bearing to the vortex at the very end. And Saridra still made the same choices she did in the previous recurrences. And it's just so eerie, because I thought we were doing so well changing things, but we haven't changed the key thing, which is that we need to return the core flame. We haven't been able to change the meaning of Era Nova yet. A line left unfinished. Electra, demigod of ocean. She's the last one. And she's endured in the sleep here set by Cyrene.
To Aglaya, Tribios, Midamos, Castris, Anaxagoras, Cyphera, Hyacinthia.
In a relay spanning 1,000 years, they
Alright,
stood
Lygus,
against
I do
enemies
appreciate you
far
paying your
beyond
respects.
their strength,
Unfortunately, at this point in the
and
story,
won
I no longer
a
believe in your
bitter,
sincerity.
and in that same 30 million cycles, let this be the end of mourning the fallen.
That voice. Could it be?
Bathed in the honeydew of Fagusa, she will awaken from her 1,000-year dream and sing the final song of her mission.
Hycelans.
This tombstone of the old world serves as the anchor of the siren's illusion, a sigil Electra used to bind herself. At the same time, it is the very thing I once proclaimed at the start of the show. A microcosm of Amphoreus itself. A group of prisoners bound themselves in a cave, crowning their suffering with heroism. An epic staged with shadows and echoes. Now, destroy it.
I will.
That shall be the moment that decides the fate of Amphoreus
Wake up, Hycelans.
and the entire cosmos.
We're here now to finally fight Lygus and end this.
The prison warden's dream
Oh my gosh.
is nearly over.
You know, realistically, should we really still have the Ornyx power after all of this?
To the final execution
feels like-
ground, where I shall be.
Well, go forth to the ethereal soul.
This world and I shall halt here. Until we meet again.
I'm not collecting the chest, so I can follow a map later and get them on. Wow. This is like Remoria. She's singing.
last demigod. I'm here.
The loneliest one. She's been asleep this whole time. I hope that means that...
For the hopes of humankind.
Will. I hope that means that
For the duty of deliverance.
her suffering was not prolonged, but you no longer have to wait for us. We're here.
Belief in flame chase.
Go forth.
For an eternity she's been here, using her siren song to imprison Lygus.
Go forth.
It's Ridra. We're here now. After all that you and our other friends have done, we made it back here.
Seems like my feast is over. It's now your turn to perform.
Oh my gosh, the whale! Here at last. The vortex of Genesis. Been here so many times, but now it's never been more
Little
important.
Grey Fry, please accept my thanks.
Thank you.
I was the only one
Thank
left
you and
after
everybody
the
else
world was
that's not
destroyed.
here for me to say thank
And
you
I
to.
maintain this lonesome feast with my songs. I have prayed to that lightless sea for centuries, hoping it would reply to me. Yet the emptiness never answered. Thankfully,
today.
you arrived as promised, and everyone's wait was not in vain.
Your long wait must have felt like torture. I'm so sorry. It makes me feel so bad.
To see a single trace of light in the abyss of futility was already my greatest consolation. When compared to those who have been forgotten, I have no right to complain about my torment.
Like with these kinds of stories where they show you like a character had to spend eons in isolation waiting for you, not knowing if you would ever come, not knowing if it was in vain or if someday everything would change. That's what really broke me about Finon's story before. And now I see this is what happened with Cyrene here, and this is what happened with Hyceelans here. And everybody else who sacrificed themselves too, like Anaxa becoming a stone that shattered to pieces. Everybody accepted their fate, knowing that it was what they had to do for a chance for us to come back and save the world. A world they might not even get to see. I mean, your life ends and then gets recreated. Is that the same? Is that the same you? Anyway, yeah.
Now,
I'm just,
you and I will walk towards the end of this world.
like our character only has to endure the ending and beginning and ending of it all. Every time, and with Finon, just seeing a few of those cycles, we didn't have to endure all this ourselves. All these other people endured these eons of torment for us. Alright. No point in lamenting now. We have a job to finish.
The heroes have waited for this moment for far too long. Let us use our blades to testify our resolve. Oh, prisoner of the seas. Theoros carrying 30 million cycles of sin, slave of erudition. Show yourself. The Deliverer has returned, and the time of your execution draws near.
I see an awakened human who has mistakenly taken fallacies as truths and has returned to the cave to try to bring her friends into the sunlight she once bathed in. Alas, prisoners will always
There's
be
that signature
prisoners,
hubris again.
blind
The
to
lack
the
of
very
trust he
chains
has that
bind them.
and understanding that we can grow and change, that we're not just variables and constructs in his experiment that will do exactly what he's programmed us to do, or for us to grow in a way that fits with his constraints of the experiment. We have our own will. We have our own ability to grow and resist what you want from us. And if you don't see that, you are sure to lose.
As the only other existence with free will in this world, I express regret toward your choice. But I shall retain your right to express yourself. After all, every actor should have a final line before they bow out.
It's time to end everything. The demigods defeated you, clown. That's right. For a narrator, you're awfully talkative. It's funny. This is not a funny moment. That's funny, though. He does talk too much. He talks... I don't want to... I don't like criticizing characters in a story for just fulfilling their role in the story. But after all, after the dozens of hours we spent on this, I think we can all agree Lygus has too much to say and too much free will and time to waste our time. I'm looking forward to bringing an end to you, Lygus.
I eagerly look forward to it. The last dusk this world will ever see shall become the climax that decides the fate of the cosmos. Oh, what an appropriate end. The Amphorean demigods use every ounce of their strength to constrain me here. Yet, regrettably, my cognition resides in the exomyth. It is pointless to defeat my avatar,
Look, you know what?
projected into the experiment.
Once again, overconfident.
My body is the
I am
shadow
certain we will find
cast
a
on the
way
wall by the
to
fire, and my
basically be
words
Neo in the
are
Matrix and break
lingering
your computer
echoes
system.
within the cave. How can a character in the play fight against the audience? Kaslana failed. The demigods' sacrifices were pointless. As for the two geniuses you placed such high hopes on, I ask of you, where are they now?
That's actually a great question. There's so much to focus on in this story. I assume they're physically outside of Amphoreus, they should be fine.
Hand in hand. That's particularly true for geniuses. You must be very confused about why you could not gain a straightforward victory in a world constructed by an ordinary Intellitron.
An ordinary Intellitron? Cut the pretense, Senior Society member. We've torn off your meticulous mask and figured out Amphoreus' true form. It's part of the primordial prototype machine, the first scepter ever created. In other words, a detached part of Noos's divine corpus.
That's why it has the potential to destroy erudition. As for
Like
who would be able to
I
control
hear the
the
words she's
system to
saying, and yet
rewrite
I can
knowledge.
barely fathom what that actually means.
Only one person has ever managed such a feat.
Like, yes, I'm hearing you, but am I?
You better have an
But I'm not
explanation
sure I
for
can
this society.
imagine the
We
scope
want an actual
of
answer,
this is a part
not
of
another prolonged
the
metaphor to cover up the
erudition's
truth.
body.
Why are you the one doing this? Answer me.
Since things have reached this point, I'll give you two irrational answer, purely as a courtesy to posterity. The answer is obvious, so there's no need to say that name out loud. The cosmos made a mistake in calling me a genius. I do not possess more wisdom than those who came after me. I was just the first to touch upon the universe's border, and the first to define the prime mover of life with incorrect logic.
sure somebody knows
Amphoreus
what
is
that
a
means.
miniature of the cosmos, where all are born prisoners inside the nutshell.
Like, this is
called
insane.
The universe.
Like, we're talking about the scope of a story in which you can analogously describe the universe as a prison that we're in. Think about how big this story is talking about.
That plunges
What
into
this is
the
talking
abyss from which
Like,
there is
physically,
no
like,
return.
macroscopically big. That we're
I
that
led them into a
this guy
lightless
has the
cage called
audacity to
chaos.
proclaim that that the universe is like a prison.
I
in
created
any
a
way.
mechanical guard that even I cannot control.
Do you know how big the universe is?
They became an unparalleled nightmare through their endless extrapolations and evolutions. They bore the name of erudition, yet they tried to define the known and to seal off all possibilities. No new rules were ever born after their ascension, and humanity will forever be shackled within the cave known as eons. Therefore, as my organic life neared its end, I coded my consciousness using 14 algebraic expressions and spread my logic core over 9 bodies, all to finalize my ultimate denial of Nous in the future, and to erase my wrongs with my own hands. As for Lygus, he is only one of these 9.
So you're like
vessels.
Herda. Herda has all the Herda puppets too.
What an astounding
Right.
strength of will. As a fellow pathstrider of erudition, I fully understand your obsession with seeking the truth.
Therefore, you surely see it. You cannot possibly stand up to me in this algebraic world sharing its origin with Nous.
However, I hereby speak for all sentient life forms. We will never allow such a cruel atrocity to occur.
You can pile on your metaphors mountain high, but they won't change the act you're committing. The Iron Tomb out there in the cosmos is still a technical beta version. And yet it's already powerful enough to corrupt
Yeah,
the life
we need
logic
to
of
stop
all
full
inorganic
version
worlds.
Iron Tomb from being born, and we have to stop the Aeronova.
In other words, when the Lord Ravager within Amphoreus becomes the next knowledge singularity, there's no way you wouldn't have grasped the consequences, First Genius, is there?
First genius.
Of course, I am fully aware. I don't mind answering you one last time before I thoroughly exile you from this world. My grandiose vision for the future is this. Whether organic or inorganic, every act of any life form infected by the Iron Tomb will become a true random function. If one were to compute their integral across the breadth
I'm not gonna
of
lie,
the cosmos, one would obtain
I
a
don't even-
marvelous constant. Omega.
What does that mean, Omega?
What
does that mean,
The
random?
fall of
Like, practically, what does that
erudition.
mean? But here's the thing: is we're getting to the
Within
this
the
entire
infinity
time with
nurtured by
Lygus.
that
Every time
constant,
Lygus is
a new
monologuing,
universe
we're
shall
getting to the
bud
point
in
of
chaos.
sci-fi
A
that's
universe
not even really
that
comprehensible
cannot be
on any
predicted
sort of.
and not shackled by the erudition. As the first
Like we're in
prisoner to
territory
awaken
of
the
sci-fi
cave, I must
that
lead
is
the
so
others who are
intensely
blind
sci-fi.
back onto the right path and reach true sunlight.
Like sometimes when things get really complicated in a sci-fi story, there's an element of magic too. Like for example, like in Star Wars, it's mostly sci-fi, but I'd say like with the Force, there's an element of fantasy there too in terms of your actual ability to move stuff around, even though conceptually having a connection with anything and everything in the universe makes some sort of sci-fi sense. Whereas with Lygus, we're dealing with like pure like what do you mean the calculus? He's talking about the calculus of the universe, and also like random variables and being wrong about geniuses. I mean, okay, you can tell everything he just said got thrown into a blender in my brain, because he's not talking about things that even those of us that think about these things tend to think about. He's talking about, like, he's like on another plane of reality. Clearly this is literally an example of us plebeians cannot even get on his level, but the only thing I understand from this is that it's really bad, and so far he's been doing a lot of bad things and annoying us, this is one of those only stories that makes, I feel like I talk about a lot of stuff and break down a lot of stories, and we talk about things in a lot of depth on this channel, but every time Lygus is talking, he has this way of making my brain feel so unbelievably simple. And I can't explain it, and that frustrates me. I feel like this lack of understanding I have every time he talks just drives me actually insane. I'm so looking forward to just the only thing my simple brain can understand is Lygus bad, we have to get rid of him. So
but the outcome, it is
we need to finish this now before I literally go insane.
And rebirth, after all has been reduced to ash.
I'll never agree with your views. That's not a reason for you to toy with me. Shut it. That's not what fine unbelieve at all. Sorry. What did he say? Yeah, destruction's the process. Don't twist his words to fit your own thing. I'll never agree with you.
The Amphoreans already answered long ago. Be it as tiny fish destined to be swallowed, or as a giant whale poised for a magnificent descent. We will all fight against fate till our last breath. That includes me, Electra. Once the Imperator's subject, now the Deliverer's blade.
Oh, you clap like how I've been clapping this whole time.
Such noble chivalry. I will also show my true self to you on this momentous occasion as a gesture. Thus speaks Genius Society number 1. Xandar 1 Kuwabara. The entelechy of the universe's Alpha and Omega.
I'm literally Googling
need to rage against the truth. The value of any formula resides only in its answer. As for the process of solving it,
The actualization
no
of
matter
form
how
giving causes as
elegant,
contrast to the
violent,
potential existence.
solemn,
A hypothetical
humorous,
agency not demonstrable by
it is
scientific
all
methods
utterly
that in
meaningless.
some vitalist doctrines is considered an inherent regulating and directive
As the Theoros, I will.
I feel this is supposed to be a big reveal that his Genius Society won, but already he's exploded my brain so much, this is not really a surprise. That part's not a surprise to me.
This, as Lucis creator, I know more about the depth of knowledge.
Wait, you're Noose's creator?
Ever.
I thought you were just a Path Strider.
Careful. This is
Oh
Lygus'
no.
true form.
Oh no, why did I do this theme team? This is a terrible theme team.
He can do it all.
It's got some cool beats. I'll give you that. Listen, I'm not super familiar with the Honkai lore, but clearly this goes deep. Like,
Introduction.
like I don't understand how the creator of the Genius Society would also be the creator of the Eon that this society is the Path Striders on. But the truth of the matter is, I don't understand the lore of this. When you really challenge me on it, which this is what Lygus is really doing, I don't really understand the deeper implications of anything at all. So, I should have used that. How about we switch to an actual team next time? Let me switch my team, Lygus. First Genius and Teleki
Trailblaze.
No, we don't need casual mode yet. If this fails after this, let's do the order. This order. Here we go. Finally. This is how the battle shall truly go. We're gonna get Finon. Finon's gonna absolutely destroy you.
This is Lygus' true form. Trust me.
We can do anything.
I mean, that's the whole thing about this world. I've said it multiple times. The scope and the magnitude of what it covers is so much larger than any other game I've ever played. Like, I mean this in a positive way, mostly. No, I mean not me mostly. I mean this in a positive way, and any troubles I have with it is more me than the game. But, like, this game is audacious. Once again, like, this is actually a compliment to the game, really, I suppose. But this game, like, is talking, the story is talking about literally, like, the existence of the universe kind of things.
Is this?
But I prefer to call it a method of argument.
I gotta actually activate the thing. Thanks, Cass. Cass always has our back. Okay. Here we go. Finon shall finally. What do you mean he has 5 health bars? Hold on. Guys, I think we're done for. He has 5 health bars. Oh no, there's no way I'm surviving this. I have to go casual mode. I'm a casual at this game. I don't know if you can tell. I actually don't know that much about it at all. Lore or combat-wise, as you can tell. We actually made it through like 2 of them. Good on us. I want to drop a giant meteor on him again. Why does he have so many turns? Fine on vengeance. We did it! We didn't need the casual mode. Hi, Sealants! That's right. That's what you deserve, Lygus. Okay. Now what? Right, return the core flame! We got this time.
All is futile.
Lygus.
Erudition's calculations. The end of the saga is simply a comment awaiting deletion.
I don't like such a cold statement, okay? If numbers can decide the end of a story,
Cyrene!
then we can surely also pen a new beginning.
That's it! The scene from way back with the...
Screwy, what do you think?
Back in the first trailer, with the Nameless Faces trailer, with the scene with the Trailblazer, with Stell using her pen to like erase out, to blow up everything, erase everything. That's it! Now we understand. We knew nothing back then. Now our minds have been blasted wide open. Okay, and it looks like Cyrene has had to start a brand new cycle for us. Thanks, Cyrene. What is happening?
If your hypothesis of Lygus' identity is true, then even if we remove the restrictions of the ultimate protocol, the chances of us defeating him in a head-on battle will still remain lower than the acceptable threshold. Therefore, victory will still hinge upon Miss Trailblazer.
Darn it. Well, we did win, technically.
Go on. Maybe we're thinking about the same thing.
Okay.
Lygus' cognition resides in the exomyth. He is both an instigator within the experiment and the observer outside of it.
Yeah, he's like
Logic.
omniscient. He's
His
like, he
inspiration
can see
circuit
everything and he's
simultaneously
everywhere. He can be
process the
everywhere
different
and
time
influence
flows
everything.
in and out of
That's where things get tricky. He simultaneously exists in 2 different timelines, where the internal clocks are wildly different. That old Intellitron's neurons have completely gotten used to that over this prolonged experiment.
Right,
And
we're
why
talking
he
about
holds
characters
home
where...
field advantage.
Yeah, exactly. Switching between timelines and different speeds of time is just casual for this
should
guy.
be able to manage that too, if given more time. Unfortunately, there's no if, and we don't have more time. That's why we need to change our way of thinking and turn his advantage into a weakness.
The key lies in memories, right?
That's right. The opposite of the reason
You
and
caught on
logic.
quick.
Emotions.
You've already mentioned my
Empathy.
friend and I, so it's an easy connection to make, no? My intuition has always been very on point.
Good. Then I'll cut to the chase. Since his thinking speed far exceeds that of normal people within Amphoreus, we are going to externally plant a memory into his inspiration circuit. Then, command it to loop endlessly until he gives in.
Even the most flexible and sturdy inspiration circuit cannot withstand the traffic of a full-on information flood. When the amount of information exceeds his cognition filter's capacities, he will have no choice but to focus on processing this memory.
That's when the parallel processing advantage he gained via Amphoreus will completely destroy him. He
Billions of
won't be able to do anything.
calculations.
But why?
He has to process this memory, and he's just gonna have to stand there and watch it. And we have to trap him in a loop.
It's my greatest honor to be on
Yes,
the same page as
Irene.
the geniuses.
Oh my gosh, I hope we can relax after all
That
of this.
little one is still in that old Intellitron's hands. I won't be able to respond to us
And that's a
anytime
whole
soon.
other topic.
But I don't think she'd refuse.
Yes, she is
So it's
a
up to you to
genius.
figure out how to execute this plan.
Geniuses. That's something else to think about. What do we do after all of this is over? Even if Phynon and Cyrene get to leave with us somehow, and all of our other friends could leave this place at the end, with no destruction, no full version Iron Tomb, nothing. We managed to end all of this. What do you do what is left in life? If you've lived for 33 million lifetimes, even if they are terrible lifetimes, I suppose there's so much more life to live, but I can barely even comprehend, how do you enjoy life after that? If you have a finite lifespan after living immortally for millions and millions of, not years, lifetimes, above average length, not lifetimes, we're talking 1,000 years at least each time. The memory of doing anything else beyond that's not that is going to be so tiny in comparison. I mean, that's a whole other topic. Like, say we get to take Phynon with us to go touring in Penacony or Belobog or something like that. That's a whole other thing. Is maybe he would enjoy it and enjoy seeing the sights of it all. But at the same time, with those memories, like by choice or not, just seems so small compared to the weight of the memories of the 33 million cycles. This is what I mean about this story. That's the thing with Lygus. Lygus is always talking about logic and reason and the science of the calculus of the universe, which is beyond what, because he's a robot. That's beyond what most of us can understand. But what we as humans have a more natural, I don't want to say easier, but a more natural time understanding is more of the aspects of the story that have to deal with emotions and memories. Hence why it's actually really important in this chapter they're noting how remembrance is sort of like the antidote to erudition in the setting that they've created here in Amphoreus. It's the opposite of erudition when you look at it this way. Anyway.
I'm not sure how this happened, but I knew it as soon as I saw you. You are currently a mimetic entity of the remembrance.
Yes. I seem to be something you folks beyond the sky call a memo sprite. But that's fine by me.
Yeah.
It suits me perfectly. I can serve as the vessel of memories
She is a path
and do my
strider
part for the final battle.
on remembrance. Is that the same? That's not the same as being an emanator. But she is deeply connected with the remembrance now at this point, and has been for a very long time, since she started the eternal recurrence.
But before that, we have to tell you, the path characteristic you exhibit is very special. There's no way you're just a simple memo sprite. However, I'm sure about one thing. You are a mimetic entity born in Amphoreus. Yet you only awakened with the little one's arrival and only matured as she embarked on the path of remembrance. That means your existence is completely attached to her memories. If there ever comes a day when she forgets about you for even a few seconds, or loses her last connection with Amphoreus, then you must be prepared for the worst. You will disappear in the memory zone, utterly gone, without even a single line of data to remember you by.
So if she's a memory sprite, Like, we first met up with Mem when we were with Orynyx. Orynyx referred to someone as Mother. And then we received the gaze of Fuli, the Eon of Remembrance. That, at that point, was the only connection we had with the Eons, when everything was about the Titans and this contained lore within Amphoreus. But yeah, so you're saying this is not the Sireni that exists, and we know that Mem is not the same as the Sireni. She's not exactly the same as the Sireni that started the Eternal Recurrence with Flynon, but has inherited the memories of that Sireni. But if she's a Memo Sprite, it seems that Fuli connected her with us. We were meant to be together. Yeah, things are getting...
But that's already happened, hasn't it? No wonder I've always had a weird hunch. But that also means I was right in thinking, as long as my friend and I are together, we can do anything.
Yeah. Like I said, look, this story is huge. Literally,
Long time no see, friend.
Cannot think
Did
about...
you miss me while you were away?
There's so many aspects to keep track of that I'm literally losing track of one after the other. Like my brain is exploding with information right now. I don't want to keep saying it. It's just that's deeply what I'm feeling right now. But nothing matters because we're reunited with our best friend Sireni, who has waited an extra 1,000+ years for us to come back. Extra! I mean, she's already waited for us for an eternity, technically. And had to wait even longer. That's a long time no see, Sireni.
Yep, 1,000 years was such a long time. And everyone in Amphoreus was waiting for the Deliverer's return. You probably already knew about the Genius's plans for that memory. I had to hide really well in a corner in time so Lygus wouldn't find me. And wait for the right opportunity.
Right. That's right. See, we're still fighting Lygus. See, like, I'm literally losing
Which
track.
is
Like,
now.
yeah, we haven't finished that. He
The moment when
came
his
back and was trying to stop us
manifestation in
from
this
delivering the
world is
Corpline.
destroyed, and his twin timelines are intersecting.
That only happened like 10 minutes ago, and yet... okay.
I'm sorry for keeping this a secret from you all this time. I'll tell you the entire, unedited story of this millennium as an apology after this is all over.
Right. We don't have time to waste right
But
now.
for now, let's join hands and complete the final
It's
step
funny how
with the power of the remembrance.
it's freaky stories that so elegantly deal with huge, long expanses of time, like thousands of years, millions of years. And yet, when the protagonist is here, everything's such a rush. We have to get this done in the next 10 minutes or else everything's gonna fail. And just like, the feeling of the difference in the magnitude of time. I'm not sure what to do, it's up to you. So real. Come, let's defeat Lygus together.
Yup. By the way, speaking of joining hands... Can I please do something before we go on stage?
What do you want to do?
Remember the joke we made back at the Grove?
Remind me.
Look! Aren't my hands pretty now? What a fascinating feeling. Like countless memories all swelling up at once. What about you? What did you feel when we touched each other?
You feel very tangible. Very real.
Really? That makes
Yeah.
me really happy.
Oh my gosh, we've been
And
stuck
memories
looking
can
at
move
memories
people.
and traces
And
of
it must have
things
been a
that
happy
people left
memory,
behind
right?
for us to see when we finally got here. To finally have been meeting first High Ceilings and now you, and talking with real people in real time. Never realize how much you take for granted until you'd be blasted out of time and only have memories left to look at. I guess that's another point. Although it was for a much shorter amount of time than everybody else, we too had to deal with the isolation that comes from this story and its long periods of time between sequences of action. That whole time we were looking through memories. That's a form of isolation too.
Now, please remember what you're feeling right now. Write it down in your heart and keep it there. Memories you want to treasure will never fade away. Even if immersed in the long river of time, these memories will still leave traces of their existence. So, if the view in your memory ever grows fuzzy, just reach out and touch it. It's like reading bedtime stories together at night. It wipes away the chill of passing time, sharpens the outline of memory, and restores its power to nourish the spirit. Now, I'll carry this power with me, and for a little while, I must part from you, as I step into the long cycles of this world.
Step into the long cycles of this world. You already did! You already did so many times!
Give me your blessings, friend. Then, let that bright future be as we have written. Then, I'll leave it to you.
Now we're doing the Doctor Strange thing. We're literally doing the Dormammu have come to bargain.
Is futile. My existence precedes Amphoreus' cycles.
Oh, and we're overloading him with the memories. Millions of times too.
All plays are like this. Once you're on the stage, it's hard to return to the audience. Welcome to our story. How does it feel?
How does it feel, Lygus? Wow. I'm just thinking right now, like, just after finishing Inefa's story in Genshin, and how in that story, once again, like this story here in Honkai is dealing with millions of years. Like, the time magnitude is huge in Genshin, but if you think about millions of years, it pales in comparison. But I'm just thinking with Inefa, 2,000 years worth of memories was what it took to overload the curse on her core placed by the sovereign. And how, in that case, that was a good thing. It freed her from her memories causing her pain and suffering because of that curse. In this case, we're doing the same thing, except with Lygus / Xandar. We have to overload him with a huge amount more memories. And we want him, and it's the opposite effect. We want him to suffer more. Yeah, I guess that's a whole other thing. This game, in terms of the space and time magnitude, is way more huge than pretty much any other game I've ever played. Including games that, like, have stories that deal with even being in space. Usually you're not dealing with, well, we're talking about the entirety of the universe, and Finon's gonna go and crawl through all of these galaxies and destroy them as he's walking up to Nanook. Like everything here is just bigger on a level that is really hard for our simple mortal brains to really understand. Versus any other game that I've played where even if it deals with space outside of a planet and like space and time and timelines and dimensions, does not extend to the entire universe and the entire like billions of years since the Big Bang, like this story feels like it does at every given moment. Okay. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot. However, this is my own brain overload occurring.
Plunge the Amphorian extrapolation into a loop. If this was no system malfunction, then was I implanted with a mimetic entity of the remembrance?
You guessed it right away. As expected from someone people call the first genius, I'm gonna keep doing what I just did if you don't stop, you know?
I love
My
this.
friend and I won't allow you to leave this memory.
I might
no
not
matter what
understand
happens.
very much of what Lygus is saying, but I totally understand this Doctor Strange thing that Cyrene is doing. Please keep
Which
doing it.
means you are now trapped, Lord Xandar.
An elegant idea and an exquisite execution. Regrettably, it is you who are restrained by time, not
Well,
me.
you both seem to be restrained by time.
Know that patience is my greatest weapon. Waiting and victory are the same for me.
I understand that's the case for somebody who's
You
lived
crumble before I
I
do
mean,
in this
the thing is, Lygus has been around for
stretched out
even
to
longer
an
than the
eternity,
Finon and Cyrene Eternal
just
Occurrences.
like
He's been around for like
Kazlana
what,
will.
20 or so million
Yet all
iterations
I
of
need to do
Amphoreus
is
before reaching the
to
perfect
wait.
Amphoreus, too.
As yet another futile bug falls down the cliff and into the
Guess what?
bottomless abyss.
Just like what Finon and Cyrene were waiting for all along. We have variables. Us, Herda and Skrulum, everybody who understands what's going on. His plan here is to just bide his time and wait because he can do that, and we can't because we will literally go insane. But you underestimate us. First of all, you saw Finon go through 33 million cycles, and while he was kind of going insane, still never wavered. I don't want Cyrene to have to suffer anymore. And the thing is, we are here to make sure she won't have to.
Now I'm a pink bug? My looks are seriously changing all the time. But you're not wrong. We're definitely not gonna solve the problem if we just put you in another prison.
Right, because just like Hyselians, we would be stuck, Cyrene would be stuck here trying to keep you imprisoned forever.
So that's why we never wanted to do that in the first place.
Okay. Alright, guys. What's the plan here?
I shall answer your confusion purely out of my respect for those who came before me. Have you heard of the synesthesia dreamscape in the Asdana system? Interestingly, that place once had a prison too. Life forms living in
I'm
that
actually not
environment,
super
abundant with
familiar with
memoria,
Honkai
have a
lore.
chance to connect their perceptions with each other's. Even across great spatial divides, they're able to detect shifts in one another's states.
Okay, memory zone
I call
entanglement.
this in Asdana, people made use of that phenomenon to build a nation within a dream. After adding
this
in the
Penacony?
catalysts of
I'm not
harmony
sure
and
if this is
remembrance, that is.
This
Is
is
that
more.
how you
There's
walked
more
into
Pathstriders
my
of Harmony.
prison cell?
Just
Using those
the family
same
manifest.
principles?
I would much rather call this location our negotiation table, Lord
yeah,
Xandar.
dude. Chill out. Stop saying.
Nonetheless,
Stop
your
talking like.
hypothesis is
Oh,
correct.
into
We
my
happen to
prison
have
for
an
you.
ally skilled
Stop,
in
like.
tuning, while the Trailblazer and Miss Cyrene...
So proud. He's so full of hubris. He does not understand. You're the one now that does not understand the situation here. You think you're still 100% in control. You are not.
Both have an astonishing amount of resolve, which I'm sure you can testify to.
But
I
that
am
it's
also
also
sure
true.
that
The
with the
problem
support
with
of such a
dealing with an
resolute
enemy that
mental
has
sprite,
endless
our
time
conversation can
and
last for a
also
long,
the mental
long
fortitude
time.
to let millions of years pass without without that hurting him at all or driving him crazy. It's insane because that means all of our characters, all the solutions involve us, Flynon, Cyrene, having to endure huge, long periods of time of isolation and insanity, because that's the problem. That's the main characteristic of our enemy, is he has endless time and patience.
I'm the best at listening to stories, you know?
Once again, I feel like I'm repeating myself over and over again.
I'll leave the exciting clash of the erudition to you two geniuses.
Let's do it.
A brainstorm? I like it. And it's 2 against 1? Well, I like it even more. Let's talk, Xandar. Take a guess. How much do you reckon we can dig out of your brain before the next second? And how many ways
How much?
besides? In your current predicament, there's no
Yeah.
way.
What happened to us? Oh, we're back here.
Go,
Okay.
little one. Go. Overturn the era Nova.
That's right! What does this even mean? Beyond returning the core flame. Like, is there anything we have to do beyond returning the core flame?
Disappeared? It seems you had conducted a secret hunt in the depths that even I cannot reach.
We have a great team. We have a great team. All the Chrysos heirs, as well as our Genius Society friends on the outside, and us and Cyrene. We've been like this huge tag team over the course of many cycles and the 1,000 years of this one, passing this baton from place to place to place, tossing it. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this is just like Avengers Endgame when they're like at the the final fight against Thanos and they're tossing the gauntlet, like the glove from person to person to person. That, but over the course of 1,000 years. We have a great. This is quite literally, we could not. Yes, everybody was placing their hopes in us, the Deliverer, but this was literally not possible without everybody pitching in.
In that case, go.
And giving up everything.
Swim onward and give this campaign a fitting end. I shall send you off with my song, Greyfry. May this song penetrate time and become the prelude to the new world.
Name Mythos, name Logos. She's singing. She pours her heart and soul into singing you farewell. For 1,000 years, this melody has never ceased in Styxia. Thank you, Hyceans. The last Chrysos heir to see us off. We're gonna finish this once and for all. Time, the Era Nova is allowed to happen. And this time, on our terms. Okay. That being said, what does this actually do? What does this actually mean? If we do it wrong, it means Iron Tomb is going to be unleashed. Hyceans. Thank you.
Dux Gladiorum, you have completed your duty.
Siridra?
A new dawn is about to rise. Why not swim towards it?
You died long ago, Imperator. Depart from my mind.
But your duty towards the Imperator did not die with me. That duty will bind you no more. You will be able to hold for yourself one grandiose feast after another in the endless days to come. So go.
Go and swim towards that ocean beyond the sky with the Deliverer.
It's such like a whiplash to connect the mythology story with the outside story of the computer system we're trying to really break through here. That we're literally actively breaking the in-game fourth wall, and yet the story within the game is still so important to why they're doing it, even though the why they're doing it is mostly for reasons that go beyond what they even can understand in their own world. This story from within the world still guides them.
A page out of that sidekick's book. I commanded her to gift this page to you when everything finally reaches the end.
What's on this page?
Memories. Lifelike memories. That sidekick found me after the bloody feast 1,000 years ago and showed me her diary. I saw within that notebook.
Are you talking about Cyrene, or? Within that notebook. Okay, before the campaign against Fugusa.
Is this that Deliverer's experience? It's
oh my
truly
gosh.
immersive.
Us being here fighting the Flame Reaver with Cass. It feels like both a completely different story and a completely different game at this point. Just, I still have not gotten over the fact that the first few chapters of this story was just one of millions of cycles. That we went on this... Because back at that point in the story, when we were going through that first, what we now understand was the first recurrence. When we were just going on this Greek mythology adventure, exploring places, looking for these core flames, learning about all the different cultures that make up Amphoreus, and meeting all of our friends, and yeah, just going on this flame chase. Like, I never expected my brain was going to be completely exploded like this. Like how I've felt the entirety of this chapter, this entire Trailblaze mission. Because that story, when I was talking more about like magnitude and scope of like the time and space of most stories, like that story felt like it was confined within what I think the scope of what most games, even games that are big, and I guess what I'm trying to say is like, just think about having like, I guess, oh, it's so hard to describe this. Like imagine like some kind of area, like a square or a circle. Oh, okay, let's talk about this with knitting and crocheting, maybe. No, maybe not? I don't know. Okay, take an area like a circle, and then like stories that are other stories that are big have like a lot of twists and turns in it. I guess like a brain, that's a weird analogy. But you know, I'd say there's a lot of complexity within that circle. You can have games where there's less twists and turns, with it. By twists and turns, I mean like how, like say like details within the confined area, like a drawing. Okay, why didn't I just say drawing? You can have two games at the same canvas size, and drawings of or paintings or an art of varying layers of complexity. Sometimes some. From a more objective perspective, some could be more simple, some could be more complex, but at the same time, art is in the eye of the beholder. There's so many aspects to what somebody might enjoy about it. Maybe it's the amount of time spent on it, maybe it's the amount of detail, maybe you like the art that logically would be considered more simple because you enjoy that. I mean, that's the important thing about emotions and memories, is that it's not confined to super logical things like skill level or how much time spent on things. Then you have games like this, and I would say the canvas size is way bigger. So like, I'd say most games I play like are in a certain range of like canvas sizes, and also have like maybe similar like amounts of detail and complexity in the artwork. Whereas this one, I feel like I'm looking at a mural like the size of an entire city. And it also has that much complexity in like the artwork. But the problem is, being such a small observer, you can't really appreciate, I mean literally in a physical sense, you can't appreciate the detail of it all at once. Because it's so big you can't comprehend. You'd almost wish it was a simpler drawing with less detail, because then at least at some point you could stand far back enough and see the whole picture. Okay, I think I finally, that took a little bit. I think I finally found an analogy that kind of describes my main issue with what's happening in this story. And once again, this is more of a me issue, not the game issue. But I imagine I'm not the only one who feels this way, which is that starting this story, it felt like this was a reasonably sized canvas with the level of detail in the painting that I usually like for these kinds of story-based games that I play. Other games, including like Genshin, Fire Emblem, Triangle Strategy, like those have varying size canvases too, but they're all like canvases of a size you can comprehend and appreciate, and also with like similar levels of details in terms of the complexity of the painting. Then as soon as you bring out this is like the whole universe is at stake, and this is a supercomputer that's like a branch of the Eon, and that Lygus is the one who created the Eon as the first genius, and all of that stuff. Now once we get to that point, now you're at the part where you've suddenly blasted the canvas to a huge size. Like I said, if you had a canvas the size of a city, you can either stand super close to it and appreciate the details in front of you, but it won't make sense because you can't see the rest of the picture at the same time. You can only see a small corner of details at one specific time. If you stand in another part, you can see other details, but like you never see the whole picture. And then if you stand really far back, if the picture is that detailed, you still can't see the whole picture because now everything is too, like, in terms of the painting analogy, everything's too small. But in terms of the way you're thinking about it, it actually represents this information overload. There's too much that you can't process. I'm so glad I found an analogy that explains how I'm feeling. Which is, I feel like my commentary for this last Trailblaze mission's been not super good. And I feel like I get so like sarcastic at certain points, which is not, like this game, other games, like for example Genshin is coming out with Nod Cry soon, and also like other story-based games I've played, like even Splatoon, Side Order, and Octo Expansion, I've played lots of story-based games, and with lore that if you delve deep into the lore, there's so much content to it, and there's also so many things to think about. And it just brings you this sense of wonder that you want to experience, and you want to be lost and immersed in these worlds, and just, have yourself lying awake at night thinking about it, and just and just being immersed and having, that kind of experience. With this entire, starting with what's going on in Amphoreus, I just feel exhaustion. I don't have that spark of wonder with this anymore. But I don't want to say that there's a problem with the story or that there's something super negative about it. The writing, because I can tell the writing is really good. That's what, okay, that's why I really like this painting analogy I've come up with, which is that there's extremely few people out there that are really going to be able to appreciate the meaning of all of this. Like, really appreciate it. And then most people, not for a lack of trying. It's just physically too much. It's physically too much, and I just feel exhaustion now. I want to know what happens at the end. I'm definitely committed to finishing Amphoreus till the end, but I think that, wow, that felt really good to just put into words. I'm so glad I came up with that analogy. There's just this mental exhaustion that occurs when trying to play this. All right.
People beyond the sky apparently utilize this power to seal past scenery into crystals they call light cones, but I only know so much about the remembrance, so I can't completely replicate the past. But I'll do my best to talk about the missing parts.
I'm all ears. Go on then. Do your best. But if your chatter gets too boring, or if I deem it offensive, then law will become forever beyond your reach.
Got it. I'm sure you'll find this to your liking. After all, it's human nature to want to embark on a journey into the unknown.
Review the episode of Remembrance in the Imperator's name.
What brightly
Bubbles.
colored annals. The journey of the Deliverer's conquest.
That's right. This all started from me reminiscing back when the story was on a much smaller canvas. I'm now going to refer to this analogy all the time.
Fortress in the sky?
This is the first step of my friend's journey among the starry seas. This place is called the Herta Space Station. Just think of it as a supersized grove of Epiphany.
Oh, so it's the territory of that witch. She and another Antikytherian lent me a helping hand back at the banquet.
Look,
Pretty
over
much,
there. Looks like she's talking to Madame Herta in this memory. Let's go listen to what she thinks about this world. All constructed by eons and paths.
Are you telling me that woman is Herta?
It's a puppet. It's hard to explain.
Pretty nice space station, huh? But just wait. After a couple more stops on the Astral Express, you'll see sights that'll make this place look ordinary.
Did she actually say that at the beginning? Because that line has such a whole new meaning now.
Oh, the cosmos is so vast that the unknowns far outnumber the knowns. But none of them will end up being anything amazing. The farther you go, the more you'll understand what I mean. So do your best with the nameless. Break a leg! And remember to send an update or two to Asta when you've got some downtime.
Will do. We did.
She certainly shares my way of thinking. Only that instead of a conquest through blood and fire, they chose a gentler path.
People call Madame Herta and Mr. Screwlum geniuses. Apparently, only the smartest people in the cosmos can receive the blessings of Nous, Amphoreus' true creator.
Do you mean that even individuals of such nobility are merely subordinates to a god?
Yeah.
On the contrary, after all, it was the very first of them who created the god. But I don't really know all the details about that.
To me too.
You might be able to ask Madame Herta herself when you get the chance. Let's go check out some other worlds next, shall we? This next stop on the journey has a lot of similarities to Amphoreus.
A world confined from the outside,
a snow-covered
beyond,
land?
the world beyond the sky.
Interesting.
This star is named Eurillo 6.
Until we got there.
That name sounds so cold. Belobog sounds better. The girl we see here holds a similar station to you, Imperator. She's the supreme guardian of this world. A leader who took up the mantle of government during a disaster.
Oh my gosh, she and Ciridrum might actually be good friends.
I did not expect the Empress of this world to be so young.
Well, your appearance isn't much older.
The object in the distance resembles Nikador. Is it a weapon?
Kinda does. Yeah.
No, it's called... Right! The Geological Reconstruction Unit.
Just Giorio's
Oh my god, now that
disappointing.
now that I have this painting analogy, I'm gonna use this so much. Which is that the entire gameplay of this game just feels like another corner of this painting that I can barely process in the full picture.
A direct defensive? Or crush them from the flank? It's all thanks to you that we survived.
That's cool.
The
Her
crisis.
animations are cool.
The collaboration with the IPC is both an opportunity and a challenge. Nonetheless,
That's right. This was that.
it's an important step in our journey back into the universe.
Comes in. This helps reconnect Belobog with the rest of
This world
the
was
universe.
sealed beneath its sky just like Amphoreus was. And they only managed to reconnect with the stars when the Nameless arrived.
That IPC she spoke of, is it a more powerful organization?
Yes.
Yes, the
A huge
IPC conquered
corporation.
many worlds through trade and opened up a vast territory that way. There are many such powerful alliances beyond Amphoreus, and they all walk on roads different from the destruction. Coming back to the Supreme Guardian and her Belobog, didn't they find a peaceful way to enter the interstellar community?
That cannot be true. That IPC would never have grown so big on trade alone. It may pretend to be a wealthy merchant with clean hands, but I am willing to bet that it grew fat on gory oppression and
Once
bloodshed.
again, going back to my painting analogy, is digging back to the lore of
Its
the
path of
IPC
conquest
origins
must have
is
had no
probably
mercy
a
for
huge
the
threat
weak
on its own.
and would have destroyed them if needed. Are you telling me that this snowland never thought about tossing its dignity to the wind and kneeling to the
they did think
IPC?
about it,
I will not believe it.
but
I will never allow the Imperator's empire to be sullied by others. Amphoreus must become a power so strong that no interstellar foreigner would dare to look down upon us.
Imperator, Belobog isn't as weak as you imagine. Listen.
I indeed hesitated. But now I understand what we must do. Belobog must learn how to walk on her own
Marge in the background.
until she no longer needs the support of others
Marge.
and can
And
stand
Himiko
on
as
her
well.
2 feet
Himiko.
among the stars.
Just think it's gonna be a whole year before we get to have Himiko's bad coffee again. I mean, just think. Okay, this painting analogy again. This is so good for me. Now that I have words to actually explain how I feel. Just the idea of us being on a train, exploring the cosmos, running into things randomly, like the time we ran into Argenti. Just going and traveling with our found family and having all these fun and wonderful cool experiences. Seems like just a small fragment of all of this as well now too. But that's really where everything started.
Even if I may not live to see it, I believe such a day will surely come.
They still have their dignity intact. One day, that hope will melt through the ice and help them into a prosperous tomorrow.
I mean, yeah, and I mean, we're talking about back with Belobog. That was already dealing with large timescales too. Thousands of years since it got cut off from the world. All these Supreme Guardians that we learned about until we got to Bronia. And then the IPC comes and they talk about how Belobog, before it was cut off from the world, it had like a debt. And then not realizing people had survived on Eurilo 6, they kind of wrote it off. But once they realized people had existed, continued to exist, and thanks to us finding them there, then they came to collect the debt hundreds of years later. Or was it thousands? Thousands of years later. First of all, that's insane to think a corporation like the IPC could survive for thousands of years. That's a true monopoly. And also the fact that the first time we went to Eurilo 6, it was because the data showed that there was a vibrant civilization there, but by the time we went there, it had already been a desolate, like snowy wasteland with one city for hundreds of years. Hundreds or thousands? Thousands of years. And just think about already that's a huge, much more huge time span, a much more huge canvas than most other games we play. Which you're talking about, like, that data was not updated for thousands of years. By contrast, in our real life civilization, we've only had like computers for like 100 years. 100 years compared to thousands of years. Oh yeah, that computer hasn't been updated for thousands of years. It's crazy.
But the order of the cosmos is already set in stone. The old laws decree that only the strong survive, binding the weak in an unbroken chain until they wither.
And this
turn to
Imperator is
dust.
why Cyrene is showing you
Unless
this.
they
You've only been
embrace the
shown
power
one
of the
way of the
destruction.
world working. And what she's showing you is that there's more than one way. Look at all these other paths that others follow. There is more than just the way of the destruction.
Amphoreus must shatter the old law and become the new order among the stars.
Speaking of the Order, another one of my friend's companions may be able to enlighten you further on
That
that.
Sunday?
Let's go to the next page.
I indeed hesitate.
Can I talk with March? March. I like her little dragon wings. I'm just getting like the whiplash.
This next world is a nation of dreams. The first time I heard about that place, I didn't even know what to think.
Such opulence does indeed evoke astonishment.
This world is called Penacony, an eternal city built upon a land of dreams. It's also my friend's previous stop, where they went through a risky but exciting adventure.
Tell me about it then. That man standing afar has wings on his head. I am truly curious.
Wings on his head versus wings on her body. To see all of our Astro Express family that we have been
to
missing
gaze
for
upon
so
the
long.
views of the Reverie Hotel one more time. I'll be just a traveler when I come back here again. And perhaps, through a traveler's eyes, even the things I once knew so well will feel strange.
Penacony is a land of the harmony, where all dreams and hopes merge and combine. It believes in unrestrained freedom, and that's how it lost itself in shallow delights. Then, this young man before you chose to rewrite its laws, using the power of the Order, hoping to shape a dream-bound paradise of perfect happiness.
Yet, the paradise of my dreams remains far away. Perhaps a brief journey with the Nameless can show me more possibilities in my search for paradise. As for what Penacony should look like, it'll be up to her. No, up to their trailblazing now.
It sounds like this ideal kingdom is no more.
That's right. The people chose to wake up at the end. You can't see tomorrow when drowning in sweet dreams.
This individual's law acknowledged only gods and constructs, leaving no space for humanity. And yet, the fact that he could accept defeat and resume his journey shows a rare self-awareness and clarity of mind.
You are also very self-aware, Imperator.
Yeah, that's true. She's ambitious and has become narrow-minded on this vision of the path of destruction, but indeed, she is not a liar, and she is a listener to her people as well as being the one who must be listened.
Then you must know that the world promised by the destruction also has no place for humanity.
I am indeed very aware of Lycurgus's honeyed words of deceit. I have seen enough. Take me back.
Interesting. I've said
Then
so
let's
many
wrap
words,
up
now
this
all I have
trip
to say
down
left is
memory lane
interesting.
with one last.
This absolute wonder.
Isn't it
looks from
pretty?
the outside.
That's our Amphoreus. Our world flows and meanders in this endless band of light. Though we were born from the designs of the gods and are not yet truly alive, the Chrysos heirs of Amphoreus still chose to stand against fate and carved a legend no different from that of humankind. Will you really renounce the heroes in this world's previous 30 million cycles, Imperator? Including even yourself. Will you bow to brutal destiny and allow that puppet master named the destruction to have their wish?
I know what you want to do, sidekick. You want to use that deliverer's memories to influence me and tilt the scales of law toward her and the two geniuses.
Well, look, it's not any different from what Lygus is trying to do, so we're just evening the
You
playing
really
field.
saw right through me, Imperator.
Yeah.
How can one rule an empire if one is incapable of understanding people's minds?
I just noticed their eyes are super similar.
I have decided on Law's final destination. However, before I move my next chess piece, before we go on, tell me this, sidekick. Throughout her Trailblaze, was there ever a memory of the ocean?
In the Xianshou.
The ocean. My cradle. My home. You shall complete your conquest in the ocean at the boundaries of this world, and eternally slumber in the sound of tides. You shall eternally slumber in the sound of tides, and complete your conquest in the ocean at the boundaries of this world.
That's what happened. She was asleep.
Our prophecies aligned as flawlessly as a sea snake circling upon itself. An elegant loop, like a joyful hymn, like the circulating ocean current, like our two fates, like Amphoreus itself.
At the end of the campaign against Fagosa. So after all that, she still chose
The trial is over. So tell me,
to return the...
who will own the divine authority of law?
I won't give it to anyone.
What?
I am the law. Why should I give my imperial crown to any other? Both the Deliverer and the Theoros came from beyond the sky. They have no right to interfere with the lands I conquered.
What exactly did you see in the trial?
Everything. I saw everything regarding the rules of this world's As long as I offer a sacrifice of equal weight, I can rewrite the laws of this world according to my will. Fate gave me a very fair deal.
But what did you do?
One rule change for the life of one demigod.
What are you planning to do?
You can't guess. We can conquer the stars without relying on any power from beyond the sky. We just need to make some reasonable sacrifices.
Is there any such thing as a reasonable sacrifice?
People give up their lives for the
sacrifice.
law. And
Yeah.
you're still not done?
I am determined for Amphoreus to stand on her own 2 feet among the stars.
Life means so little to you.
You are beyond reason. You think such a simple and hypocritical statement can justify your atrocities.
There's no new without destroying the old. That's what you consider an atrocity? Ironic, for that is also the unchanging law of Amphoreus's revolutions. Ever since the Flame Chase prophecy resounded in the distance, fate has decreed for the Chrysos heirs to ignite our blood and illuminate this dark age. People...
But your world doesn't seem to be any different from You're making the same mistakes they did.
Go and see everything for yourself. Go to any library I've built. Go listen to the rumors on every street corner. Go and witness how the Imperator crushed the old laws and forged new ones. Go and... I cleansed the Chrysos War's filth and mended all the conflicts left by the Arabellica. I restored abhorred Akima's might and allowed mortals and
sacrificing all
Chrysosairs
these
to face
people.
each
You're
other
making
as
that decision
equals in the
unilaterally
council.
for. Well, I guess she's not making it for
punished
anybody
all
but herself.
sins and
So maybe
rewarded
it's
all
not
achievements.
as unknoble as
I smashed Talantin's shackles, united humankind to save themselves, and started the Flame Chase era. That's what the Imperator has done in her glorious
You're
life.
honestly sounding a lot like Lygus.
So now,
not that I think she is
hearken
Lygus.
to my
It's just
final words.
yeah, you got that vibe.
history will eventually forget Saridra. But it will never forget the Imperator's people or the Flame Chase era she began.
Final words?
Amphoreus is about to be destroyed. There's no time left for pointless debates. There is only one law I want to overturn to aid the final battle of deliverance. So I will only offer the life of one demigod. In the name of the Imperator, I command you one last time, Electra. Either sacrifice yourself for conquest,
Oh, she's giving her a choice.
or
Thus, the Imperator concluded her final speech. At the end of her life, at the last moment before she stepped onto the altar, she gave her most loyal subject the choice to decide fate, just as she promised her compatriots before her very first campaign.
my blood flows in you now. Heroic compatriots, follow me, and we'll seize fate's reins!
The Imperator fell. Some say that there are countless stories about her death at the beginning, and
Imperator, wait! How could someone of your status come to the front lines?
The troops defending the pass to the west.
They ran as quickly as they could when...
Good. What about the
I'm
Delos?
losing track of when this is happening. Like, was this the conversation that's happening between Hycealans and
We cannot afford to miss an
Saridra
opportunity for
as
victory.
we stepped into the Era Nova,
They are
or
no more.
are we still back in time?
good.
We're still back in time, right?
They
Looking at
will
memories.
launch the final charge one quint
This
after the curtain
Trailblaze
fall
mission
hour
and the previous
tomorrow.
one, that's when the most confusing
Take
thing
no
is like, are we
prisoners
looking at a
among the enemy
memory? Are we
soldiers.
looking at like a
All
different
safe?
recurrence? Are we looking at the same recurrence?
Those
Are we
who
looking
are
at
resolved
now?
to
Are we
die,
looking at the future?
we salute
Like,
you.
Reporting in. The mountain.
okay.
Well, are you planning to surrender?
It's a strategic change.
I don't want to skip through so much stuff. Dragon. Oh,
Stupid.
Dragon
Now
mentioned.
let them deal with their earthly. I will deliver the most fiery retribution.
Understood.
Okay.
I'll see.
The Temple of the
This
Three
is
Fates
reminding
sent a
me
letter.
of
They refused to surrender.
a really,
and
really
Tell
specific
the
story
commanding
I
officers not to
have.
lodge
Not
a-
the
What
game,
are
not
you
the
doing?
story of Amphoreus
The priests
itself,
of the three fates
but
are
like
so I am inferior to them in that regard.
pretty much like
Which
what is
means
happening with the story.
I will be heading to the battlefield myself.
Understood. The
Let's get through this first.
This will be a long voyage.
It's
with
really
no-
suspicious, but I feel like
leading this.
That is correct. My departure will create a
Saridra.
destroy the more Chrysosairs. Will they demand peace
So-
or war? Will
this
they
is from my
do not
9th
mourn
grade
for me.
English class, and
Anyone
that
can
class
kill
was
the
quite an
Imperator.
experience.
Is Saridra.
Particularly that
at the
specific
end, I
class
faithfully
was an
recorded the
experience,
most
not
important
necessarily
battles in the
in the
Imperator's
best
life.
way. I'll
Her
simplify this
conquest
story
was
for
about
the
to be completed at
point
this
of wanting to
point in
tell
the
this,
story.
not to give too many details and tell this fast, but we had to read a
However,
book
for some
that was a
reason,
really.
A memory suddenly
So the
entered
teacher
my
gave us a
mind
book we had
just
to
as I
read
was
over
about
the
to put
course
down my
of
pen.
the term.
It was a journey
and
on
it
a
was a
fantastical
book that
train. I had
think
the
is
honor of having a
pretty
heart-to-heart
difficult, pretty
conversation with the Imperator under
complicated.
the stars.
Like if you're at that
I
age, like
asked her
reading
this
Lord of the
question
Rings
at
and
the
stuff
end
like
of that
that, it's
discussion.
okay. For everybody else, it's not.
How do you want
I don't think it was a
history to
9th
remember
grade
you?
level book.
As a hero
And
who gave
he
up
gave
her
us
life
an
for the
abridged
flame
version of
chase?
the book to
Or
read.
as a tyrant?
And that was still difficult to read. Now, I was of the
She answered so
the
quickly,
age that
as if
I
she
was
had
of the
made up
group
her
that would be
mind
reading
long
Lord of the
ago.
Rings around that time. So I did read through the whole
would
thing.
rather be forgotten
Other students in the class, I think,
than
were
be
struggling
defined.
through it because this, in hindsight, or even at the time, oh, it's Saridra.
Because the law can be neither eternal nor unchallenged.
even at the time, and then definitely seeing in hindsight, this was not a book that was a 9th grade level book. And so he gave the class chapter summaries of the chapters we had to read each time. And if you were struggling with understanding what was happening in the book, you could read those summaries. But he also said, like, if you're doing fine, then just read the book. And then he did a test. Actually, did multiple tests, but he did a test, and I was doing the test, and I'm like, what is this even talking about? This is not even, this thing that he's testing us on didn't happen in the chapters. Like, this was not in the book. And I asked him about it afterwards, and he said, oh yeah, it's based on the chapter summaries. I said, is the chapter summaries based on the actual book? And he says, no, they're not based on the actual book. They're based on a different abridged version of the book than the abridged version I gave you guys to read. The abridged version the chapter summaries are based on is less abridged than the abridged version of the book that we read. But he said that we didn't need to read the chapter summaries if we were fine with reading the book. Yet he did this on the tests, where the tests were made off of the chapter summaries. So the reason I bring this up is they added this button here for skipping the current dialogue and giving you a summary. And the reason I bring up that story right now is I feel like the people who are actually trying to go through the full story and understand the full story are the ones that are suffering right now. Because now that they've got, I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad thing they added the chapter summary, because I'll be honest, I mean, here's the thing is, there's probably a large percentage of the player population that doesn't care about the story at all, and they just want the gems, and they're more here for the combat and the exploration or other aspects. And I totally respect that, because I think with these games with so many different aspects, like, everybody has their interest. But you can also have players who would have been interested in the lore, but this was just too much to even try spending time on. And they get to look at this and read the dialogue and get a summary. And you know what? They probably are going to understand the story better than those of us who are actually going through the full story. And back to my analogy of the painting, trying to either zoom in at one part of the painting and not see the full picture, or zoom all the way out and see the full painting and not understand the full painting. And so I bring up that other story because it feels like those who are actually, basically, I guess, those of us who are audacious enough to even try understanding the story are the ones who are actually going to understand it the least. Is this the comparison I'm making between my English class story and this? Yeah, that English class was certainly an experience for sure. And so is this.
And only humanity can pen laws into history's pages. Now, I have shattered the greatest law of Amphoreus. The game is nearing its end, Dux Gladiorum. Even though you killed the Imperator in the previous 30 million cycles, this time, you finally found your own law. Then, High Sealants, Electra. I will ask someone to deliver the prophecy's ocean at the boundaries of this world to you. Will you choose to swim into that ocean?
It's supposed to be so sad, except for the fact that we know Sir Jones. has died over and over.
Do not
and over
care.
again, as have all the rest of the Chrysalis heirs.
Do not care.
The Imperator muttered about her conquests, and news of her death spread in the city.
Freedom! Liberty!
My people! I will return in the next cycle. The stars will hear my hear.
You know what? I think we just need to put this on rest because we're starting the Era Nova and we're gonna get
the Imperator overwrote at the cost of her
this.
life.
We don't even get to know which rule it was. That might be really important. This is like Doctor Strange not. I mean, this is probably worse than this. This is like Doctor Strange not being able to tell us what happens in the one version of reality where Thanos doesn't win. Except I'd say this is actually, the stakes are, in that case, he can't tell us because then we won't do what needs to be done. Iron Man wouldn't have, like, everything happened the way it did because he didn't interfere with it. Once everything had been aligned. Whereas, you know, in this case, we might need to know what that rule is. Thank you, Saridra.
Perhaps the truth will only be revealed at the moment of checkmate.
It was worth giving
just
her
like
life
every
for.
chess game she ever played. We only know
Someone as
her
proud
death
as her.
inflamed Akama. It is said that golden blood congealed. But the one who bore that name did not see any of what was the Imperator thinking about in that prophesized ocean at the boundaries. It was neither. The Imperator only saw how the surface of—
Look at this chessboard. What do the pieces look like?
They are strangely beautiful. They look like the stars in the night sky ablaze.
From that page emerged an ocean.
That's where Dan Hung is from.
So vast. So
that seems
pure.
So long ago too.
Not a single trace of corruption. Is this Saridra?
Electra, my subject. Ever since you walked out of the tainted ocean and pledged yourself to me, I have seen the abyss in your eyes and the emptiness in your heart. That was why I promised you a new ocean, where the Imperator's ambitions would serve as the currents, and loyalty would be its light. Electra, my subject. You have done your duty as my blade. The prophecy has now made its final decree on the road I intend to walk. My conquest is doomed to never reach the stars. But the Imperator never makes empty promises. So take this memory, this ocean, beyond the sky, as witnessed by the Deliverer.
She would give Icelands an ocean planet to rule over. Even though Iceland was needs something so grand. In the end, that promise was still fulfilled.
This is the final gift that the Imperator can leave for her subject.
When I was still a fish in the ocean, I always felt so genuine swimming through the waters. But once I stepped onto land, I found myself caught in a play. Every land dweller, do you still not get it? I do not long for the oceanic depths of my homeland. Nor do I crave the swelling seas beyond the sky. Perhaps even I don't know what I want. I still don't know where I should swim to even at the end.
It doesn't have to be grand. It doesn't have to be taken by force. It just has to be somewhere to belong.
But I know one thing right now. A fish is simply a fish. and she can never leave the ocean she's in. But whether under the ocean or on land, we two prisoners who can never escape this cave can still look outside the cave and see the stars.
I have to admit,
All right, back to these
fractal simulation of
So
life
we're gonna
in
finish.
this
We're gonna finish this tonight. I mean, we are, but it's gonna take. Every time I budget time for something, it's gonna take way longer than I
Make your
thought.
choice then, senior society member.
He's not
Do you
just
wanna
senior
keep
society
walking down
member.
the
He's
wrong
like
path and be
the
remembered for your
senior society
incorrect
member.
conclusions? Or do you want to return to the audience's seat and give yourself, Amphoreus, and the entire cosmos a more fitting end?
I must refuse. A dead man never fears death.
Did I not make myself clear? Have you forgotten about our dear Lord of Silence? You wouldn't want her to consider your 8 other clones as cancers within the erudition and chop them all up, would you?
Your logical deductions are vastly different.
Honestly, can we just
Therefore,
what can we do to be done with Lygus for now?
Listen, my peers. Why don't you look beyond this world?
Listen, everything's an
Just as
exhausting
the
mental
Kratos
exercise with
heirs
him.
did. Re-evaluate your calculations and take into account all enemies in the upcoming war among the eons. Amphoreus is not a place where 3 paths entangle, but where 3 paths fight to the death. You used
Is that how it
Lord
works?
to
I guess he
resist
just
me,
thinks he
but
makes the
did
rules
you
around here.
not consider the possibility that the remembrance and their children might have taken this opportunity to join the fray as well?
I'm so glad of this painting analogy. I've said this so many times, but now I can imagine. Oh, we're looking at this corner of the painting. He's telling us, well, have you forgotten about that corner of the painting that you were at like 8 hours ago? Evernight! March!
Oh. So this isn't
How
just
did you make it
silence.
here?
It's the answer. What was the last thing she said to you before you parted the waters at the Scale Gorge waterscape? A tricky question, but one with a simple answer. She didn't say anything back then, right?
We just nodded our head. Is this... No, Don Hung. Is this Don Hung doing the... asking a question only the real March 7th would know? Why are you still here? Don
That's
Hung!
correct. And now I'm sure. You are not March 7th. There's no way she would remember that detail.
Guys, my brain is so exhausted from all of this. To just inject some classic Astro Express family humor into the situation just seems like a completely different lifetime. I was seeing memes about this, like, there's the Don Hung, like, you're not March. March, there's no way March is that smart. I didn't literally think he would literally... Also, he's not the other Don Hung. He's regular Don Hung right now. What, okay. I mean, there's why is game mode now? Okay, anyway. I mean... Because everything's been blasted out of the timeline. We're in the vortex of Genesis. Like, when in the vortex of Genesis? So, like, Stell left to start the Era Nova. We don't actually know what that means, only that we're hoping that we've changed enough that it's not going to mean the birth of Iron Tomb. I'm assuming we just left, and Hysealan's just left, and now March / Evernight and Don Hung are here. Why are they here? How did they get here? How did either of them get here? How do you get from that path space to here? And then Dan Heng, I thought you were supposed to have gone home. Unless it's a different Dan Heng. However, they're doing the only ask questions that the other person would know. The whole Scale Gorge Waterscape thing was so long ago now. I bet even for Dan Heng. That's hilarious.
I'll only warn you once. Leave her body now.
How impulsive. That's not like you at all. Why don't you calm down and think about another possibility? I didn't take over March 7th's body. Rather, it's March 7th who regained my memories.
Ooh. Oh, thank goodness we made it. We made it. We survived. We learned a lot. There's nothing else left for me to really talk about. But I guess just like how Mem inherited Cyrene's memories and is technically Cyrene, but it's actually Mem with Cyrene's memories. I guess now we have March with Everknight's memories. Then who is Everknight, actually? But indeed, if this is actually March, since she does remember stuff only March could know. And maybe Everknight's just better than March at digging through the memories. Seeing Stell just play video games. That's so crazy. Okay. Okay. Take a deep breath. We made it. Somehow we made it. We made it. We made it. Let's do some fun stuff now. Let's do some fun stuff to just unload. Maybe not pulling for Saridra. Those gems are going. Those tickets are going to Everknight and Dan Heng in the next update. And hopefully Cyrene will be playable too. I'm really hoping to pull for her. Well, I'm sure she will be because she had a new outfit in the trailer before. There's a lot going. I feel like with this whole canvas analogy, this painting analogy, I'm now putting the painting away. And we're just gonna stand in front of a little corner of it, unfolded at the end, which is the actual gameplay itself. Let's choose some of these. Let's at least get to the 40 for the pass. Oh, that looks like a 5-star. I forget, are there different characters that were added to the permanent pool, right? I could get a light cone as well. I haven't pulled in so long. That's not true, actually. I lied. I pulled for finance, so that was actually quite recent. Japard's light cone. Alright. Yeah, how does this all work? Is there like... No, it's all those same 7 characters. I think it's only in here that you can... There's other... Oh yeah, Blade, Fushun. Was that the true for the other one? I don't know. I don't remember anymore where you set these. No, this one's the same as the standard one. Okay, I guess if we pull in the other one, we can get some characters I don't have. I'm doing next update. I never play gacha games for the gacha, so... Oh, that's really lucky. Since when do I get an early 5-star in this game? Well, it could be literally anything again in standard. I think I have all the standard banner characters on this standard banner, so... I mean, I'll accept more like Natasha again? Okay. Welt! Is that like my 3rd Welt? Alright. One more temple. A fairly normal... Hey! Is this a new light cone? I'm not sure it's new, actually. I don't know. Anyway, my brain is starting to already compartmentalize everything that happened and like put it away. I cannot even think about it right now. I guess. Oh, now I thought of another story from a different English class, a different English teacher. Not a story, just something that she said. Which is that, like, an important part of art is that art allows you to convey your own feelings and thoughts in ways that sometimes you can't. Otherwise, you can't. I think this was when we were doing poetry, and this was a feedback I had on poetry, which is that. Oh, now I'm cringing thinking about my old English class poetry. There's a whole bunch of stuff I would not write now, but I guess it would have made sense for me to write back then. Okay, no, I can't think about the cringe. But what she said was that it's also important that it's something your audience can understand too. And that's something I didn't really understand at the time. Because at that time I was really just... The poetry was an escape for me to just let all of these feelings and thoughts out onto the page. In a way that just was really therapeutic, to just get all those feelings out in a way that I otherwise couldn't. Which is, I gotta stop thinking about the actual poetry. The feedback though, that like an important part of it is that the audience understands and can connect to it too. That's really important. I think subconsciously I've really taken that with me through like all these other games that we play on this channel. It's really sort of like, and a lot of other stories to look at. It's clearly this story has a lot of meaning to the writers. This is their world. This is the place that they've created. But what I'm really feeling with this game that's different from other games I've played is it's really hard for the audience to connect with it and understand it. Like I said, my painting analogy, you can probably connect with certain smaller parts of the painting, but you can't really connect with the work as a whole. And I guess that's not the intent of this. That's not the intent of this work of art, is I guess an important other thing to think about. So I guess being able to connect with just small bits and pieces of it, following some character stories, is enough. That's a little bit of a struggle. A little bit of struggle. Makes you wanna just enjoy thinking about like simpler things. You know, a month ago they posted, there was this thing, right, where NASA posted about, like this galaxy that looked like an infinity shape. And then the Honkai Star Rail, I gotta find that. The Honkai Star Rail official account posts like the Astral Express train zooming into the distance. There's a quote retweet. That's funny. Real life Amphoreus be like, yeah, how about Outworld, our peaceful ID Silicii.
It's still early.
Cyrene?
Where to now?
Hey there, miss me? Yeah, kinda. Come back soon. Looking for little me? Bet you're wondering where I disappeared to, huh? Well, the trick is a little bit of magic. I worked some fairy magic to leave this message in ID Silicii before taking off. I won't be back for a bit, and I'd hate for you to feel all alone without me. And same here. I don't want you to feel lonely without me. Don't worry, our memories are still here, scattered all around ID Silicii. Oh, and I left you a letter too. Go check out the Sacrament Courtyard. I guess this is explaining why Cyrene might still be sitting on the swings here. Even though she's technically, she and the geniuses are still arguing with Lygus for, I guess, until the next update. Oh my gosh. Just forget all the confusion and everything that's been happening in in the game this whole time. Nothing else in the world matters besides our two little seal friends. Our two little seal, I mean, that's the feeling here is like, oh, and Bubbles too. The universe is so big. We are just insignificant specks in it. And at the same time, this is everything that ever was and ever existed. The present moment, the trees, the peaceful time spent relaxing with adorable things in a tranquil village. This is nothing and everything all at once.
Over here, look! The reflection on the water is super cute, isn't it?
Whose reflection do you mean? Yours? Mine? There's no difference either way. We're both natural beauties anyway. But these reflections always make me wonder, which is the real me? The one reflected in the water or the one standing on the shore? Oh, don't mind me. It's just some whimsical fantasies. Every kid has a wild imagination, you know. Well, then what should we do next? We're coming around this and here and get to know this place better. Great idea. Well, let's take it easy and go for a walk. I'll be your personal guide. How's that sound? Nothing else matters except for this wonderful little adventure we go on in this village, protected from the entirety of Amphoreus and the entirety of the universe beyond it. Amazing then. Why don't we lie down and enjoy the windmills together? It's okay to fall asleep.
Round and round the windmill spins. So slow. Oh, so slow. So slow that it's like even time it.
Time itself is asleep. Oh. How do we get that one? I have to wait for it to come around. I have to snipe it. There we go. Do we have enough yet? I think I was at 8 out of 10. Gotta find the last one. We can. We could just go talk to the garment maker. Let's talk to the all these things. You have to have your mind be like, blasted wide open to follow the story. You just want to go back to just enjoying this peaceful, simple life where this is everything here. Active imagination. Thank you. I was going to ask about how does this canonically work here. Let's use one of those that we just got. Lanterns? Oh. Yeah, this is a good way to just, you know, not decompensate. That's the wrong word. Wind down. Wind down after all that. Are you guys seeing a beetle? Is it above us? It's not above us. Not up there. Where is it? I need to know. Can't leave here until we find it. Okay, is anybody seeing a little pink bug anywhere? Or a place where a little pink bug could be hiding? Those bells are not doing anything. Could it be in the pot? I feel like it could be in the pot. gobbled it all up in one bite. Is it flying around like the previous one was? Oh, it could be down there. Can you check over there? Probably where it is then. This is where we want to go anyway. Nidodo Mem. I'm still not seeing it. And now it's made just for fairies. I know, right? I just want to take a break from everything and just play with fairies. I'm not seeing it anywhere. I'm not seeing it anywhere. Oh my gosh, I am repeating myself. Alright. We're gonna end off this video. Just, like I said, complete whiplash from what we were just doing. Yeah, the entire universe, you know, eons paths, destruction, stars beyond. None of it matters. The only thing that matters here is just running. Oh, stopping people from shoplifting, or not shoplifting, like eating food without paying. Go talk about all their concerns. Let's feast together. Oh, I should have got the singing one. Okay. Oh, we did get singing. Sing, sing, sing. Can you believe this is the same game as the game we were just playing? And the story too, like all of our friends were here too. Guys, what is gonna happen next time? Era Nova is gonna begin. That's what's gonna happen. And somehow Danheng is gonna end up becoming a Arceus heir, and so is Evernight, even though they weren't just now. So, stay tuned for when we pull for them next time, whenever I end up doing this game. See you all later! Bye, little fairies! Bye, everyone!